Three Count Podcast.
Oh, that's not one of your best,
Welcome
Dylan.
to the Three Count Podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Chambers. Joining me, main event, Ben Hobden. Benny, come in once again.
How are you, buddy?
Going good, mate. Going good. Changing a lot of nappies.
Yes, how is it? Fun, I bet.
It's great fun. You know, the
Yeah.
nappies aren't so bad. You know, spending a lot of time watching the WWE channel. We've been talking about that. It's
Yeah.
good old stuff. And I was watching Tough Enough the other day with like Josh Matthews and Chris Nowinski.
Yeah, Breaking Ground's pretty good on there as well. You get quite a few of the old guys from NXT that are now up in the main roster. So it's good to see how they all went out.
Yeah, good stuff. Now, Benny is coming to us live from the Orient Hotel where he's a workaholic.
Little hidden away office, guys. Sorry about the lighting, but, you know, I've got to do what I've got to do.
That's right. You got to make them all somehow. Once we get the sponsors come in and WWE on board, we'll be sweet. But until then, we got to do what we got to do. Now, a big show for you today. We're going to take you through the Elimination Chamber card and whether we will hear the biggest pop in wrestling history or not. And we're going to look at all the latest goings on. Plus, later in the show, on the back of there's a bit of a debate as to whether the Bloodline or NWO is the best wrestling storyline ever. We're going to draft the best ever wrestling storyline, so stay tuned for that.
Got some good ones for you.
There are some absolute crackers.
And some shockers.
Follow us on the socials. You can find out when new episodes drop. You can also check out all of our 3-count drafts and have your say on them. You can find us at 3Count Pod on Twitter and Facebook, at 3Count Podcast on Instagram. And if you could show your support, we'd love you to hit that subscribe button on YouTube or the follow button on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast from. Now, Benny, let's jump into what's going on. Now, Cody and Sami in the ring on Raw, promo of the year?
Oh, it was pretty bloody good. Although, obviously, we had, you know, last week we had that promo with Paul Heyman and Cody, which sort of, that was brilliant as well, you know. Had the tears, we had everything going on, and then Paul Heyman drops the bombshell about, you know, Roman was the son that he really wanted, and Cody was just fired up. And then obviously this one, Sami just going off, really. He was just so heated and then, yeah, I don't know. It was fun. It was actually fun.
It's one of those things. They're on two separate shows, and obviously they both got things going on with Roman. But just, I don't know, for some reason, seeing them in the ring together at the same time, you know, kind of Cody firing Sami up.
Yeah.
It almost gave me some goosebumps there. It was kind of cool to see.
What do you reckon? Cody will, you know, push for Sami to join the main event, make it a triple threat?
Well, we'll get to that a bit later with the predictions, Benny. Don't steal my thunder right now.
Oh, no, you haven't even told me anything yet. I've already ruined it.
Now, Dax Harwood's Instagram.
Yeah.
Now, he's a big tequila aficionado. He's shown a picture of, you know, a couple of bottles of tequila he likes. But that's not what's important about this picture that he shared on his Instagram story. There was a piece of paper clearly with the WWE logo at the bottom.
Ooh. Are they back?
Now, Dax is a smart guy. You know, if
he would have known it was there.
He's showing it for a reason.
Yeah. Either he wants out of AEW, that's his way of getting out, you know, because they're obviously not on TV at the moment, are they? So
no, I think they might actually be off contract.
Okay, so if they're out of contract and he's doing that, he's either saying, take me back or I'm coming back.
Yeah, or it's a contract they're already signed.
Yeah, exactly.
It was an official WWE document, it looked like. So interesting to see where that goes. Speaking of people who were once in WWE, but this one will probably not be returning, Naomi. She's changed her, you know, handle to Just Trinity on all her socials now. So, you know, are you sad to not see Naomi coming back?
No, mate, I never felt the glow, so I'm good.
Yeah, I didn't really feel the glow either. But, you know, all the best to Naomi. We did think that maybe she might join the Bloodline. That would have been a great addition, but not to be, I guess.
Didn't need it.
Now, one of our favorite docos to watch, Dark Side of the Ring, it's coming back for another season. And they've released 3 topics that they're going to cover. And basically people they're going to cover rather than topics. Bam Bam Bigelow, which should be very interesting. Abdullah the Butcher, which will be a brutal one.
Brutal.
And Mike Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So some interesting stuff there from Dark Side of the Ring. A few sad notes this week. We've had Lanny Poffo pass away, the Genius, the brother of Macho Man. I went back and watched some of the Genius stuff, and he was an underrated kind of performer.
Yeah, I've never really seen much of that stuff. So,
I mean, he was a heel, and it was so annoying watching him.
Yeah, I think that's why every time I've seen it, it's put me off. Like, because you're not watching it in the current day, you know what I mean? It's different. When you go back, you just sort of turn it off if you want to.
That's right. Now, Jerry Jarrett, father of Jeff, legendary Memphis promoter, he also passed away. So condolences to the Jarrett family. That's another sad loss. And another Jerry the King Lawler, rushed to hospital with a stroke, though expected to make a full recovery.
Yeah, they talks that I think he's out now, or he should be out very soon. But yeah, not good to hear, but I know they are, getting old, and for the lives they've lived.
Absolutely.
How is Rick still going, really?
Yeah. Some of the walls they've been around could talk. Oof.
Yeah, 100%.
Now we'll quickly cover a little bit of what is going on in AEW. Quickly on AEW. It premiered today on KO, on Foxtel, through ESPN, so that's exciting for all us Australian consumers.
No excuse now, no excuse. It's all there for everyone to watch.
You can get all your WWE and AEW on KO. Not a sponsor, don't know anyone who works for them. So there you go. The Guns have won the AEW tag titles. Benny, what are your thoughts?
I couldn't believe this, and I haven't even actually spoken to you about this, and I've wanted to, and I've forgotten to a couple of times. You must have been devastated, for one, because you're an Acclaimed guy. But really, the Guns,
Here's how I booked that originally. I thought, okay, Billy's turning on the Acclaimed for sure. Guns as tag champs, heels with Billy there. But no, we've kept Billy with the Acclaimed, and that's what doesn't make sense to me.
Doesn't make sense.
I kind of see now, because they're challenging them at Revolution.
Yeah.
And I guess the story between them doesn't have much juice, with the Acclaimed just having the belts. So, it's a bit of a, can they get them back story for the Acclaimed?
I'm surprised TK hasn't turned it into, a best of 7, because he loves that kind of stuff.
That's only when people are coming back from suspensions.
Yeah, fair.
And we had Samoa Joe. He won back the TNT title against Darby Allin. A bit of flip-flopping of titles there.
Yeah, Wardlow will take that back as well, probably eventually. And then, it'll just keep going around and around. There's not really much sort of weight to it, is it, when they flip-flop it around as much?
No.
But I think you've got to keep, the internet crowd happy, and people just don't. I don't know. It's TK's in a tough position because he's got so much talent, and who do you give the belt to? And everybody's got to have a go, So.
And he's tried. He keeps adding belts.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Everyone will have one soon. It's like a participation award these days.
Jungle Boy has said he wants a title, so maybe that'll be a good fit for Jungle Boy.
He might introduce the cruiserweight title, then him and Darby can have a fight over that.
There you go. Yeah, probably has some good matches, to be honest. And lastly, TK, Tony Khan, he's announced that a Ring of Honor weekly TV show will return in March. Unfortunately, they didn't get a TV deal, so it will be on the Honor Club app and internet site there. TV tapings are going to happen at the end of February, and it's going to go to air in March. So good stuff there for Ring of Honor.
Getting it out there at least.
Benny, it's time for your favorite part of our preview episodes.
I'll be back in a sec, guys.
It's quiz time with a bit of Elimination Chamber history.
This one's tough. I'm hopeless at Elimination Chambers and Hell in a Cells.
Well, the peeps out there, they love to do it with you. So, I like to throw some curveballs here and there, but let's start off with how many Elimination Chamber matches have there been so far?
Well, I know it's got to be over 20. So I'm going to go 21.
30.
Really? Okay.
It'll be 31 and 32 after this weekend.
There you go.
I think you'll get this one. Who's won the most chamber matches?
Triple H?
Triple H with 4.
Yeah.
Do you know who has the most eliminations in chamber history?
Ooh. In one match or overall?
Overall.
Maybe someone. Oh, well, you want to say Triple H, you want to say Cena, but I know Goldberg had 3 in one match. But he hasn't been in that many. Randy Orton.
Yeah, kind of close. It's Chris Jericho.
Oh, well, he has been in quite a lot.
He has 10 eliminations. He's also got the most appearances with 8, which is equal to Orton. So they both have 8.
Okay.
All right, here's the curveball for you. What is Elimination Chamber known as in Germany?
No idea, mate.
It is known as No Escape, is the name
Okay.
of the pay-per-view.
If you had just said Elimination Chamber, I would have walked out. I actually would have walked out if you said it was the same thing.
No Escape, the Germans trying to stay away from the word chamber.
Of course, now it makes sense.
Now, we're in Montreal for Elimination Chamber. Do you know when the last major WWE event held in Montreal was?
Are you smiling for a reason? Was it the screw job?
It was not.
Oh, that's why I thought you were smiling. No, look.
Give me a year.
2008.
Not far off. 2009.
Breaking point.
The main event of CM Punk defeating The Undertaker for the World Heavyweight title in a submission match.
There you go.
And they kind of parodied the Montreal Screwjob in that match.
Yeah, right.
Where Taker had Punk tapped out, but then, they managed to reverse it, and Punk had him in a submission move. He didn't give up, but they rang the bell anyway. There you go. Now, we'll move on to the actual Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Do you know who has the most wins at the pay-per-view? I will give you a hint. He no longer works for WWE.
So you're saying he works for AEW? Daniel Bryan. I was getting there before you did the hand signals. I was getting there.
Daniel Bryan has 5 wins. He's actually 5-3. The Miz has the most matches at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view with 10.
There you go.
Can you guess for me Roman Reigns' record at Elimination Chamber? He has had 5 matches.
1-4.
He's actually 4-1.
Oh, wow.
Very good at Elimination Chamber. What about Sami Zayn? He's had 2 matches.
0-2.
He's 1-1.
Okay.
There you go. Now, out of all the superstars that are in this year's Chamber matches, who has been in the Chamber the most times?
This is probably a trick because it's probably one of the females. Because I know you like screwing with me like that. But I would lean towards Seth, but I'm probably going to say Liv or Asuka.
Liv Morgan has been in there 3 times.
See, I knew there was a swerve there. I knew.
Well done. Seth has been in there twice. Now, the US title has been put up 6 times at the Elimination Chamber. Do you know how many times it has changed hands?
Once.
Once?
Yeah.
Just once. And the WWE World or Universal title has been up 18 times, and that's changed hands 7 out of 18. So
yeah, it's one of those places where it's meant to be really up against you, but usually the champ still does walk out more often with the title. So,
and generally it's the lead into WrestleMania as well. So there's not too much thrown into it. Obviously, last year with Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Was that last year or the year before? Jeez.
I don't know. They all when he threw Theory off the top, that was crazy.
That's right. Right. When he came in last minute. All right, Benny, let's get to the Elimination Chamber card. Start off, we've got Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar paying $1.53, Lashley $2.37. What do you think?
Mate, look, I'm just going to put this out there, and the fans can get up me as they want, but I am pretty much going to go the favourite everything, just giving you a heads up. I don't know the odds. You're the odds man. But by looking at my lineup, I think I'm going to go favourites. But I'm going Brock here. This should be fun, but I just can't see them not giving Brock the victory. Lashley probably needs the victory a bit more. But where does he go from there if he does beat Brock? Like, who's next for him? He just goes back into that US title picture. Or do they move him over? Like, I'd love a Lashley versus Gunther sort of something going on there if he moved over. But I think Brock wins, and that'll force Lashley back to the Hurt business and something going on there.
Okay, well, I've got a little bit of a different take. I think Lashley's going to win this, and I think the Hurt Business gets involved.
You think it's finally going to happen? Yeah.
Now we've mentioned, like, why does Lashley need the Hurt Business? He's huge.
Yeah.
Against Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, that's fair. And especially considering you've got, all of the people in the Hurt Business now, because you've added my best mate Omos, plus Shelton, plus Cedric, MVP. Like, it's pretty. They could be pretty dominant.
Absolutely, they could rival the Bloodline, maybe. I don't know.
No, not that far. Does that mean it keeps going then?
No. I mean, I also thought maybe we see Gunther, but no. I think the Hurt Business gets involved and Lashley gets the win and just starts that. We see a real good Lashley heel with the Hurt Business behind him.
So this is the other thing about this pay-per-view as well, just quickly. All the matches should still be in the chamber, even though they're not actual chamber matches. That would make it more fun. Because imagine these two just one-on-one in a chamber.
I would be interested to see, one day we'll get there, Benny, to see what the chamber matches are like for being in the crowd.
Yeah.
Obviously, we get a great view.
I don't know if I'd want that, to be honest.
No.
Hell in a Cell, maybe. The chamber, no.
It seems like it'd be tough to see in there.
Yeah.
In any case, let's move on. Mixed tag team match, Edge and Beth Phoenix, Finn Balor, Rhea Ripley. Finn and Rhea, $1.57, Edge and Beth, $2.25.
Yeah, well, there you go again. I didn't know who'd be favourite in this, but I've gone Finn and Rhea. You can't have Rhea lose going into Mania when she's just won the Rumble. She has to get that momentum up. I guess you could have Edge beat Finn, but I see Rhea probably pinning Beth to win this while Edge and Finn are on the outside. That's the way I see it going.
I agree with you there. I have Finn and Rhea as well. But also more from the point of, like, I think they're setting up Edge and Balor at Mania. Yeah, and if Edge wins, there's no juice to that match.
Yeah.
Obviously Rhea needs to look strong.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. If you've got Finn and Edge on the outside, or something happens to Edge, Finn somehow hits Beth, Rhea gets the pin, then Edge hates Finn even more. So now he's really got to go after Finn for what he did to his wife, and then game on.
I'll take the $1 of Rhea not to get pinned.
Yeah, 99 cents, mate.
We move on to the Women's Elimination Chamber match to determine the challenger, the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. It's a mouthful of a stipulation. We've got Carmella, Nikki Cross, Raquel Rodriguez, Asuka, Liv Morgan, Natalya. Now, the odds are, let me get to it. Asuka, $1.30. Raquel, $4.33. Liv, $8. Carmella, $15. Nikki, $17. And Natalya, $19.
Yeah. Well, I think you can knock a few off, yeah? Nikki isn't going to win. Natalya's not going to win.
In Canada? Is that not a smoky? Natalya?
Not to go on to WrestleMania.
No.
Like, I mean, she might be the last one pinned just to keep her there.
Would you mark out for that if she, like, came out, dressed as Brett and, she wants a WrestleMania moment and like starts giving glasses to kids?
If she had the family there, if Brett was there, I'd mark out a little bit, but otherwise, nah, I probably wouldn't. I don't think it's Raquel's time just yet. So it leaves it Carmella, Liv, and Asuka for me. I've got a big question mark over Carmella because I feel like they are giving her a bit of a push since she's come back. But this new Asuka turn and, like, the whole face different, the new character and everything, I think it's Asuka for the win for me.
Yeah, I had to go with the favorite as well, Asuka for me. Belair, Asuka at Mania just feels right. The rest of them just don't feel like they fit. Like you mentioned, Raquel, she's not there yet. Who's to say she won't be there next year, but just not yet. And the rest just don't seem to fit for me. So
well, I guess Asuka. 3 of the others have been champ. You know what I mean? But they just against Belair at Mania. If that wasn't the stipulation and it was just a match or something like that, like I could see somebody else winning, like a Natalya or something. But for the title at Mania, Asuka for me, and it'll be a great match. Asuka
Belair's been almost unbeatable. So looking at that lineup, I feel like only Asuka or maybe Raquel Rodriguez would have a chance, and they're obviously the 2 favorites.
Yeah, well, I guess you could look at the way that Belair has been almost unbeatable, and when Asuka came in, who's better than Asuka? She went on that massive run. They could talk about that. They could really push it that way. Who's had the more dominant run or something like that? So that'd be fun. Yeah,
bring it on. We then have the Elimination Chamber match for the United States Championship. Ford, Gargano, Reed, Rollins, Priest, and Theory. Now the odds are Theory, $1.52 favorite. Rollins $3.75, Ford $7.50, Gargano $10, Priest $13, and poor old Bronson Reed at $15.
Let's hear it. What do you got?
I got Seth Rollins winning this one.
Hmm?
I'm looking ahead to Mania, and I think it's a more compelling story of Rollins trying to protect the Intercontinental title from Logan Paul than Theory defending it maybe against Cena, if that's rumors true. So I've got Rollins winning this one.
US title, but yeah, I'm with you.
Oh, US title, sorry, mate.
No, that's right. See, I like that. So you've changed my mind a little bit now. So I like that. I still think Theory wins for me. But Theory versus Cena doesn't need the title, and Seth versus Paul doesn't need the title. But this would be the perfect opportunity to give Logan Paul the title or give him a title and push him even harder than what they are. So I do like what you're saying, but I'm thinking
the fans would hate Logan Paul with
exactly. Like, so it'd be pretty solid booking. But I'm going to go with Theory on this one. And I love Seth, but yeah, I think Theory. I think the shining lights in this will be though Montez. He is a future star.
I can't wait to see what Montez does off one of the side of the chamber or something.
Well, here's the other scary thing. What about if Bronson does the avalanche off the top of the pod? That's going to hurt, man.
Someone's probably not making it out of Montreal.
Yeah, if it's Johnny Gargano, the poor thing, he's not going to be Johnny Wrestling for long.
Well, I mean, so you've got Theory winning. If it's Theory and Cena for the US title, there is something poetic about Cena going for the US title, the first title that he won.
Come full circle.
WWE.
And I think he loses, though. I think Cena loses. Theory beats him.
Oh, he puts him over for sure.
Yeah.
Just quickly, what did you think of Rollins' boots the other day?
Oh, how good were they? And there was a rapper sitting in the front row of the New York Knicks game wearing exactly the same boots. So
was it the same night.
Well, I don't know. I didn't see who it was. I just seen a real quick picture on online. But how good was it? I just love how what's his name? The Miz is just like, what are those? Like, so good. Talking
so
about
outlandish.
Telling him he looked like Super Mario or whatever he was saying. So I loved it.
All right, let's get to it. Undisputed WWE Universal Championship match. Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn. Roman Reigns, he does pain me. Roman Reigns paying $1.10. Sami Zayn $6.
Yeah, look, should be 16 really. It's going to go one of two ways.
Or for some of us, Sami Zayn was paying $251.
Hey, look, this is why I want him to win, mate. This is why I want him to win, so you win some cash. Gamble responsibly. Reigns will dominate so strong and just ruin him, or Reigns gets a little bit, on top or whatever else. And, they're saying Jimmy and Jay won't be there, but Jimmy's the only one with the DUI problems that can't travel, isn't he? So
Jimmy is now allowed into Canada, FYI.
What about Jay?
Jay's fine. Jay was fine always. But despite the DUI, that has been cleared up and Jimmy is now allowed into Canada.
So this is the thing. They won't be on SmackDown. But Jay rocks up. Everyone thinks he's going to help Sami, and then he still turns and he's back on the Bloodline.
Even though Sami acknowledged him?
Yeah. It's all a swerve. It's all a swerve, and Reigns still wins. Sami doesn't win. Sorry, brother.
That's okay. Well, look, as much as I want to say Sami as well, I have Roman Reigns. Look, I think Sami's going to have the match won.
Yeah.
And he's going to get screwed over, whether it be by Jay, whether it be, by Jimmy, Solo. Somehow he's going to get screwed out of the win, which I think will lead to that aforementioned triple threat match of Cody and Sami. Like, with just the feeling of Cody and Sami in the ring.
Yeah.
If you add Roman to that mix, that is an epic main event.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what it sort of had that feel about it. They were showing so much respect for each other and stuff. So it was setting up the fact that if Sami gets screwed over, Cody will be like, you got screwed over. So come on, then you can join the main event.
It's either that or it leads to Roman defending on both nights of Mania.
Yeah. Which I still don't mind that, which is what I said a long time ago. I thought it should be.
Yeah.
So
So
But-
that's the way I think it's going. I think we see Sami in a main event at WrestleMania.
Woo.
Big call.
Big
call.
time. Big time.
All right. And it's been a compelling storyline. And on that note, let's get to our 3-count draft, the best wrestling storylines.
Oh,
I have the first pick this week.
of course you do. You always pick the good topics when you've got the first hit.
Look, to be honest, I think this is tough.
Oh, no,
Like-
there's no clear number one for me at all.
The debate that is raging around is 100% fair, but I'm going to try and pour water on it right now. I'm taking the Bloodline.
Fair enough.
Like, this has gone from main event Jey Uso, trying to take out his cousin, to joining. Jimmy joins. We've got Paul Heyman managing. Solo comes up. Sammy's now there. They're dominating everyone, but there's like compelling story within it. Sami and Jey hating Sami, and now he loves Sami, and
No, it's brilliant.
it's just so well done and over such a long period of time. We've had the whole Heyman, is he with Lesnar? Is he with Reigns part of that storyline as well? It's just been so intricate and just compelling the whole time.
No, 100%. You explained it brilliantly. And I can understand why it's number one. But you know what? I probably wouldn't have even taken NWO or Bloodline as the number ones.
Wow, okay.
Only because I don't know. I feel like there's so many other things. But then
You're
the way-
taking Mae Young's hand.
don't ruin my honorable mentions later, all right? No, but I will go the NWO story from just the way, I guess, it sort of formed with the Outsiders, the boys coming across, and then it led into, Bash at the Beach 96. Hogan comes out. He's the third man. Which side's he on? Bobby Heenan screws it up. This is the New World Order, brother. And then they just went on this thing. The storylines they had with Sting and the way that they tried to get him over, and then Macho Man was against them for a bit, and then they formed the Wolf Pack. It just sort of, but then it did get ruined towards the end. It got overdone, and they just got too many people involved, and it sort of went to shit. But the storylines within it, it was just such a long thing, and they were just there to take over, and that was brilliant. And it was our childhood, it was, yeah.
Absolutely. If you haven't watched it, hey, go over to Binge, because they have all of WCW Nitro and every pay-per-view. So it was compelling television.
Oh, compelling, yeah.
Now I feel like there's an obvious pick here. Do I go with the heart or the head? I'm gonna go with the head here. And it's the Austin McMahon saga.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to give their boss a stone cold stunner?
Yeah.
After they've given them, too many hours shift or screwed you out of pay or something like that. The classic blue collar worker going up against the billionaire boss, trying to screw him over at every turn and, getting his comeuppance quite a few times.
Yeah, it was brilliant. It just the way they went back and forth, and some of the stuff that Austin used to do, and just McMahon, Mr. McMahon, that character was the greatest heel almost of all time. You know what I mean? So brilliant, great pick.
You got the greater power part of it.
Well, I was just going to say,
the corporate ministry.
It was me, Austin. It was me all along. Love that. That was almost one of my honorable mentions a bit later on, to be honest.
To finally, WrestleMania, they both teamed together to screw the Rock.
Yeah. And
working together on the invasion. So, it all kind of links in. The Austin McMahon saga.
Massive. I've got a couple here, but I'm going to go with my heart. And I'm literally going to go.
You can take this at fifth, mate.
No, but I can't. I got to do it. The Bret and Owen storyline. Who was the better brother? Just the way that they teamed up. They were a tag team together. Owen turns on him. Bret comes back out in the Rumble. Goes on, wins the Rumble. Then they have to have the match at Mania. And just even after all of that happened, they reformed. And then there was always that animosity between them. And then, Owen Hart went on to join the Nation of Domination and stuff after Bret left. But it was just it was always still there. He still talked about it. Even when he had his slammies and he ran around carrying on like an idiot. And it was always Bret versus Owen and just who was the better brother. And it was growing up. I literally watched it the storyline the other day with the missus at home, and I was like, I honestly thought that these two were going to kill each other when I was a kid. So, like, yeah, Brett and Owen for me.
Brett and Owen. Okay, well, I guess I'm going to take, if that's what you're into wrestling, I'm going to take what got me into wrestling. And it was the boyhood dream. The Shawn Michaels boyhood dream story. He won the Rumble, didn't win the big one at Mania against Diesel, came back, won the Rumble again, had to defend that spot against Owen before Mania, then finally got to Mania with the Iron Man match against Bret Hart, finally succeeded, finally got the title he'd been fighting for so long. Jose Lothario there with him, coming down from the rafters. Oh,
can we just mention, though, that since when does an Iron Man match go to extra time just because the HBK didn't win? Bret Hart didn't have to lose the title. It's a draw. He retains. This is bullshit. I'm sorry.
Been sitting with you for years.
Hey, it's up there with the screw job. Come on. Look, I love HBK as well. I just love Bret Hart more. So it was brilliant watching HBK coming down from the rafters. That was
just
brilliant.
have to fight. He fought for 2 years to get that spot and to finally win that title. And
yeah, that's fair. All right, what are we up to? My third pick.
I'm
gonna go the Mega Powers exploding.
That was my next pick.
Yeah, you can't go past it. Savage and Hogan. It just sort of, you could see it in the works, and then Hogan got a little bit too close to Miss Elizabeth, and he took just took the shine off Randy winning, and just sort of just all led up to those two going at it. And it was that was fun to watch,
especially because reportedly Macho was very
jealous, protective,
as well.
Yeah,
so a little bit of realness thrown in there.
Yeah.
I'm going to take what I just said, some realness thrown in there with my next pick.
Oh, I've got this as well.
Edge and Matt Hardy.
Yeah, that was actually going to be my next pick.
Now, for those who don't know the story, I'm sure most of you probably do. Matt Hardy and Lita were together in real life. Matt got injured, I believe, and was off the road. Lita was traveling with Edge. They got together. Matt got dumped. And then he got let go from WWE. There's a huge groundswell of support from the fans to get him back. He came back. They had this match where they just beat the absolute tar out of each other.
Yeah.
And I legit thought, like you said with Brett and Owen, I thought they were going to kill each other.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Matt wanted to.
Yeah, and you had this
pretty stiff match.
This great underdog of everyone who's ever been wronged by a woman, and the cool guy who stole her away, and it was just, and for them to actually turn that into an angle and be able to pull it off, it was compelling television.
It was great, absolutely brilliant. Well, I've got a few more here that I want to take, but I'm actually going to say one that I didn't even have written down, and that's the McMahon-Helmsley era. Steph and Triple H getting together. The way it all started with, her being with Tess and at the wedding. And then I think we talked about it a couple of pods ago, and just, marrying the boss's daughter just to get up the boss and then end up together. And then even the way it led on to, when Triple H came back and went up against Jericho, because she was now siding with Jericho and stuff like that. Like, that was great TV. And then obviously they go on to form the corporation and everything like that. But it was just a story of getting together with the boss's daughter, but then she turns on the boss and the father and goes from there.
Yeah, you got so many parts to that story too. You got the McMahon-Helmsley era where it was like her and DX kind of running things, and then moving on to the Authority later, where, they were kind of screwing, everyone out of title opportunities and whatnot. So there was even like a little mini storyline of like the love triangle between Steph and Triple H and Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
Like, there was so much to it. And or there was the part where I think Triple H got caught teaching Trish Stratus a move. And
yes, that was great.
There was that whole jealousy. There was so many parts to that
Or even
McMahon Helmsley story.
even when The Rock came back and Steph had to calm him down because they were like, oh, we're good friends now, and then he's like, oh, The Rock's going to take you out for dinner. And he's like, well, I'm going to pay for dinner. And then they're like getting into it. Steph's going to calm him down again. And just that whole, obviously they run the show now, but that's been going on for 25 years. So it's just continuation. It's a pretty good, it's long storytelling, but it's not even trying to be storytelling anymore. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
But it started out as a story.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
that's where the fun part is.
All right. Good stuff. This is a tough one. Where to go from here? It's my last pick too. Geez, I've probably got about 4 here, which I'm tossing up between. And I think for me, this is going back to when I was a little bit younger as well. Not too young, but although it probably wasn't pulled off as well as it could have been, probably mostly because of the talent was there. Invasion storyline was, such a great part of like my growing up watching the business. And
I agree with you.
From the start of, Vince is buying WCW, then Shane buys WCW, and then ECW's in it now too. And we get all the originals, they are WWE superstars now. They're turning back to ECW, and Heyman's there. And we got this fight, and Stone Cold goes over to the Alliance. And it was, obviously if they had some of the better WCW stars, it could have been a lot better than it was.
Oh, it would have been huge.
But it was still so much fun and definitely compelling television to see who was going to take control of WWE.
Yeah, it gave us like a real push of Booker as well. You remember Booker versus Stone Cold back in those days and stuff like that. But then obviously Stone Cold joined the Invasion, like you said. And just, the contract does say McMahon, but it says Shane McMahon. Like that was crazy.
The beginning of it all. I actually went back and I realized I hadn't watched that episode of Nitro.
Yeah.
I'd only watched Raw, the simulcast.
Yeah.
I hadn't watched the actual Nitro. It was a fun watch, but
yeah,
it was, I kind of understood why I was going.
No, great pick. See, now I've got a few that I could pick from as well, but I guess we'll use them in the honorable mentions. And this is one that you probably wouldn't think that I'd go for, but I'm going to go for just the story of Goldberg back in WCW. Just that undefeated streak.
Or
the undefeated streak of Goldberg when he came in. It did get a bit corny, where it's like, oh yeah, he went from 120 to 130 in a weekend because of house shows and stuff like that. But just the way they built him up, and then it got to winning the US title. And then he beat Scott Hall, and then he won the title of Hogan on an episode of Nitro in Georgia. You know what I mean? Like they didn't even put that on TV, like on a pay-per-view. It was just on a Raw. So, and it was just that beautiful build-up. And the best part about it all though was when he lost, and who he lost to, Kevin Nash. So I
was waiting for that.
I thought so. I couldn't leave it out. But yeah,
it took a taser to do it, but
hey. And for some reason, Bam Bam Bigelow coming out and getting involved, and Disco Inferno getting involved. That still makes no sense to me as well, but whatever.
All right, Goldberg's undefeated streak. That is good stuff. Okay, so I have the Bloodline, Austin McMahon saga, Shawn Michaels' boyhood dream, Edge and Matt Hardy, and the Invasion storyline. Benny's got the NWO, Brett versus Owen, the Mega Powers explode, the McMahon Helmsley story, and Goldberg's undefeated streak. All right, Benny, what have you got? Honorable mentions.
Flair and Savage in '92, when Flair was saying that he had photos of Miss Elizabeth and he did the whole "she was mine before she was yours" and all that kind of stuff. That was a pretty solid storyline. He had the photos that he put in the WWE magazine, and that was interesting. I had the Ministry of Darkness corporate ministry thing, but you sort of covered it with the Stone Cold McMahon thing. Kofi Mania. Kofi Mania. And it was all organic, because Mustafa Ali got injured and then they went into the chamber and sort of went from there. So, they were my good ones. And then I've got a couple of terrible ones as well. If you want to give your good honorable mentions, and then
I'll give you one terrible one because I think this is worth a draft in the future of worst storylines.
Yeah, well, I've got a few here. Go. Do you want to go, or do you want to?
All right, I'll give you my actual honorable mentions. I didn't want to take too many Shawn Michaels ones, but the storyline of Triple H and HBK
I've got that as well. Yeah.
Especially if, form DX, HBK comes back 2002. Are they friends again? Reforming DX, the turn. And then, they fight for the championship. Shawn wins it at Elimination Chamber,
Yes.
Survivor Series. And then they fight for the title a little bit more. So eventually, they get back together and DX is a thing again. So There's a big, intricate storyline. I had a couple of AEW's, the MJF CM Punk story, where we were wondering, is MJF really legit upset that Punk left wrestling, and and it was kind of all trickery in the end. And MJF and Cody, he was Cody's best friend and his right-hand man, and then turns on him. That was great stuff. Undertaker's WrestleMania streak.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of weaves through a long time. The Yes Movement.
Yeah. I just wasn't a fan. That's why I left it out. But I guess it was a good storyline.
It was a good storyline. It was kind of like Kofi Mania as well. The one which I almost took with my last pick, and maybe a tiny bit of a homer pick, but Punk threatening to leave after Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Right after the pipe bomb promo. And then, he won and he left, and we thought he was gone. And then, believe it or not, he comes back. Rollins turning on the Shield. That was great. And just the whole Kane and Undertaker story.
Yeah. Well, from against each other to Brothers of Destruction and stuff like that. Just speaking of sort of not brothers, but you've got KO and Jericho, that led to the list of Jericho, the list of KO. That was such the best friend story. That was so good as well. So
Bro.
Okay,
underrated.
Bro. Yeah.
Underrated story of will they get together, and then finally they got together.
Rated RKO. There's so many.
Yeah.
But the terrible ones, obviously, you mentioned before. But Sexual Chocolate and Mae Young. She gives birth to a hand. Come on, that was terrible television. But to be fair, anything with Mae Young in it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She did take some. She did go through quite a few tables from.
From the Dudleys. Yeah, 100%.
Yes, there's some terrible ones. We'll get to them.
Let's save them.
Yeah,
let's save them.
We'll save them because there are some absolutely god awful ones.
Yeah, I've got at least 8 here. So.
There you go. We're all set. Okay, well, that is it for the show this week. We'll be back next week. We're going to break down everything that happened at Elimination Chamber. We're going to toast to Sami Zayn's victory. And we'll also have the latest news and another 3-count draft. Benny, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Dill. It's been a pleasure. Can't wait for Sunday.
That's right. Everyone go and enjoy Elimination Chamber. And we'll see you again next time on the 3-Count Podcast.